The fog lay thick over the Scottish Highlands as Emma and her loyal German shepherd, Jeff, arrived at Dunmore Castle, a towering, ancient structure that looked like something out of a ghost story. The castle, with its crumbling stone walls and tall turrets, had been standing for centuries, surrounded by rumors of hauntings and eerie, unexplained events. But Emma had always been more curious than scared, and with Jeff by her side, she was ready for anything. "Now remember," Mr. McGregor said as he led them to their room, "strange things have been known to happen here at night, objects moving, eerie noises, even sightings of a ghostly figure." He paused dramatically, his eyes twinkling. "Some say it's the ghost of Lord Dunmore himself, still searching for his lost treasure." With that, he left them to settle in, and Emma and Jeff found themselves alone in their guest room. The room was dimly lit by a flickering candle, and a chill seemed to linger in the air. Outside, the wind howled, rattling the windows, and shadows danced on the walls. Jeff, lying near the door, suddenly lifted his head, ears pricked up. Emma looked over at him, noticing the tension in his posture. "What's wrong, Jeff?" she whispered, but Jeff was focused, his eyes fixed on the door. Just then, she heard it too, a faint, shuffling sound coming from the hallway. She froze, listening intently, but the noise faded away, leaving only silence. Emma shook her head. "It's probably just the wind," she said, trying to reassure herself, but Jeff didn't relax. Early in the morning, she woke to find Jeff standing by the window, growling softly. She rubbed her eyes and looked out, squinting through the fog. There, near the castle's outer wall, she saw several shadowy figures moving around. They seemed to be carrying equipment and looking around cautiously, as if they didn't want to be seen. She dressed quickly, and with Jeff by her side, she slipped out of the room and into the shadowy corridors. They moved quietly, following the faint sounds of shuffling and murmured voices. Jeff's nose was to the ground, tracking the scent, his ears alert for any movement. The hidden passageway twisted and turned, leading them deeper into the castle's ancient foundations. It was dark and musty, with cobwebs clinging to the walls and dust thick on the floor. Emma held her flashlight tight, the beam casting eerie shadows as they moved forward. Finally, the passageway opened up into a larger chamber lined with shelves filled with dusty books and strange artifacts. But before Emma could examine them, she heard voices echoing from a chamber beyond. She crept closer, and peeking around a corner, she saw the figures from outside, 3 men with flashlights and digging tools. They were poring over a worn map and speaking in hushed, tense voices. "I'm telling you, the treasure is here," one of them said, pointing to a spot on the map. "The rumors of ghosts keep people away, so it's the perfect cover." Another nodded, glancing around nervously. But we need to be quick. Someone might realize what we're doing." Emma's eyes widened in realization. These men weren't ghosts, they were treasure hunters, using the castle's haunted reputation to scare people away while they searched for Lord Dunmore's legendary treasure. Jeff's low growl alerted her to the danger, and she knew they had to act fast. She retraced her steps through the passageway with Jeff, emerging back in the main hallway. Together, they made their way to Mr. McGregor's quarters, where she explained everything she'd seen. They devised a plan. Mr. McGregor cut the power to the area where the intruders were, plunging the room into darkness. As the men fumbled with their flashlights, Mr. McGregor activated hidden speakers throughout the hallways, filling the air with eerie, ghostly sounds, whispers, footsteps, and a low, haunting moan that echoed off the stone walls. Meanwhile, Jeff added his own touch to the scare, barking loudly and growling in the darkened hallways. His sounds echoed, making it seem as though he were everywhere at once. As they scrambled to leave, Emma and Mr. McGregor stepped out from the shadows, blocking their path. Emma aimed her flashlight at them, casting a dramatic beam over her face. "Caught you red-handed," she said, her voice steady. Jeff growled, stepping forward with his fur bristling, and the intruders froze, wide-eyed and terrified. Mr. McGregor crossed his arms, his voice stern. "You've no right to be here. This is a place of history, not a treasure hunt." Defeated, the men dropped their tools, their faces pale with fear. With Mr. McGregor's help, Emma and Jeff locked them in a room to wait for the authorities. By morning, the local police had arrived, and the treasure hunters were taken into custody. Word spread quickly about how Emma and Jeff had foiled the plot, and soon they were being hailed as heroes. The castle staff, grateful for their bravery, threw a small celebration in their honor. As Emma and Jeff prepared to leave, Mr. McGregor shook their hands warmly. "You've done Dunmore Castle a great service, Emma. And Jeff here," he leaned down to give Jeff a pat on the head, "he's a hero of the Highlands, he is." With one last look at the towering castle, Emma and Jeff set off, knowing that Dunmore Castle's mysteries had been protected, and that they'd always have a tale to tell about the time they uncovered the truth behind